What's up, guys? My name is Justin. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are back on iRacing for Proto-GT in the Ford GT2 at Watkins, Glen. And unfortunately, we are going to be having a little talk because once again, I am the lone Ford GT2 in this race. I'm glad the race went official because that has been a hard thing to come by, and I am shocked by it. We are at Watkins Glen, one of the, if not the premier paid road course on the entire sim, and more often than not, this is only like the fourth or fifth race all week that's gone official, and it's been a day and a half now. Um, it is late Tuesday night. I would search more for a Ford. I have some other plans this week that are going to take up some time in the evenings and prevent me from looking too hard to find the race. But only one race has had more than one Ford, and it was, of course, the Fabian Special during the United States lunchtime earlier this afternoon. So, not really a realistic possibility to get in that because I'll still be at work until Saturday, obviously. And Saturday, I'll be at Road America with my brother. Perhaps Sunday, we'll see on the weather. But yeah, it's just frustrating. So, I started the video a little bit early. I want to have a little bit of a discussion. Excuse me, I'm still coughing, still not 100%. We're getting there. First, wow, this guy's name is Brendan. Sorry, apologies. I just noticed that. That's a heck of a name. I don't know if I love it or hate it, but anyways, my obligatory. I'm not very good at Watkins Glen. This place is scary. Obviously, we can take it nice and chill. The first lap or two, get some tire heat, let these guys get away, not die. That's the key. Um, but I'm gonna have a little discussion and a complaint or a vent about the state of iRacing today in this therapy drive. Usually my therapy drives are about racing or cars or the great stuff about iRacing or my friends and teammates or life or good things that are happening to me or something along those lines, something cheery, something positive. That's not going to be today, unfortunately. So, if you're against criticism or against hearing not depressing things, but things that'll probably pull you down a little bit as far as your enjoyment of this race. Maybe this isn't the video for you. I'd still appreciate it if you watch it, drop a like on it, and then if you want to put it on the background and mute it, or turn it off, whatever. I would still appreciate the like, but this is going to be a little bit more of a complaint video today about what's happening on iRacing lately, more than I would say ever before, even more than the last couple of years post-COVID, and kind of what that means. So we'll get on the grid here, but I'm not really going to stop my speech or interrupt it. We'll just kind of have our pace lap, and then we'll have a 30-minute race. Should be plenty of time for a talk, because unlike last time, we drove these kind of in a solo therapy drive at Suzuka, and I don't remember where we were last week, Canadian Tire. Those are both a lot more cheery videos and happy videos. This is going to be a little bit more depressing, so apologies for that. But again, I think it's something that I need to get off my chest and how I feel about the state of iRacing in the sim right now, and this is kind of the perfect opportunity to do it and use it as an example. So yeah, we'll get to it. I appreciate you so much. Again, make sure you drop that like, sub down below if you're new. Have plenty of other great iRacing content tomorrow. Hopefully going to be WRL League race. Been a little while since I've been in that. Tyler's League. I think we're at Chicagoland. Hopefully, fingers crossed. I'm not 100% sure I can make that. So we'll see. But anyways, I have to say, um, this has kind of been the epitome of what iRacing has been as of late. Um, it's very, very difficult to. I don't know, what, six total. It must be more than six, is what he's trying to say. Anyways, the epitome of what iRacing has become. It's been very difficult for me this season, especially, to find other Ford GT2s to race with in Proto GT. And that's a bummer because although I don't care about competition, I don't care about the ironing, I don't care about any of it. I just love driving this car. This has become my favorite car to drive on the sim, especially since post Solstice, because it's just so much fun. Like driving this car, the manual shifters in this, the gear changes, the way it sounds, the way it feels, not just being an aero monster. It's amazing and I love it. And so I would drive this car literally by myself in an unofficial race or a league or whatever. It's that good and I really do love it. But it's still frustrating when you drive a car for every week for a season and you never ever see any other Fords. Or I mean, it's very hard to find a Ford to begin with. It's equally hard, if or maybe even harder, to find Fords near your pace. There are a handful of guys that drive these that are absolute aliens. I don't really consider myself an alien along with them, but definitely among the faster group. And then there are a handful of these guys that are just woefully off pace. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just one of those things where it's very frustrating to be in a race in this car and never see any close competition in your class. And I understand why that is. It's a paid car. It's a 15-plus-year-old car that is not racing the real world anymore. It's a very old scan. It's got some wonky suspension to it. It's not an easy car. It's in a series that's mostly dead with other old cars, but I thought for sure this week at Watkins Glen, one of the, again, the premier, most owned, most used on every schedule all the time, maximum participation road courses, not just in the world, but on sim racing at all. And we can't find another Ford. Like I've looked all day yesterday, once the week changed over, all day today. Again, unfortunately, I'm not available the next couple days to do more of a searching for a race before I need this video to go out. But I don't know what else I can do. So I'm very seriously, strongly considering not driving this car, at least full time for the channel next season. So let me know your thoughts down below. If you don't mind me doing therapy drives and driving by myself and having, oh, please don't back into me, guy. Here, I'm gonna back up just in case.
Do we want to get rolling here, or?
If you don't mind me driving this by myself,
we need the gap. We don't get stuck.
this seems a little bit of an excessive gap, but if you don't mind me doing all this, there they go. If you don't mind me driving this car alone by myself and just having therapy drives and chilling and enjoying driving the car, let me know down below. Let me know if you want me to continue driving this car. I am going to finish out this season. We got, I think, 3 or 4 more weeks left. I need to run them all for participation. I figured this is my 4th or 5th week already. I might as well finish it out and get my $4 or whatever because it's B class, and so that goes a long way. But I don't really care about that. Even if my participation, doesn't matter and I don't get my $10 or whatever, like, I don't care. That's not going to be a deal breaker for me. I just love driving the car, and I'd love to drive it with more people, or especially friends. And I don't even mind driving it by myself. When all my friends last season drove the GT1, or a couple of them drove the HPD, but mostly the GT1. But of course, I don't blame them for not wanting to race, 4 other cars. Excuse me, I'm going to cough here a second. Still not 100%. Sorry about that. I don't blame them at all for not wanting to race with 4 other GT1s. That's sometimes hard to find pace. And again, there are 7 GT1s and 5 HPDs, Hondas. And this is, like, again, peak evening time on a Tuesday, the most popular track on the entire sim for paid tracks. I don't get it. And so I'd love to drive this car more. I'd love to keep driving it. So if you guys want to see it, I will keep driving it. But if you guys are like, I'm tired of you driving by yourself and not racing anybody or not having any good competition or whatever, let me know. Again, sorry. But I'm just frustrated that this whole state of iRacing is like this. I mean, iRacing has always been about, or I shouldn't say always. I missed the first, let's call it 4.5 years, not quite 5 years. I joined in June of 2013, so we are a couple weeks now, about 4 or 5 weeks away from my 12-year anniversary in iRacing, which has all been consistent. I've talked about a million times before. I've never taken a break. I've never had time off. I've never had a period where I stepped away and didn't race. I'm on iRacing, checking something or looking up stats or doing research for the next race I'm doing or whatever. I'm doing that basically every single day for the last 12 years. If I'm not sick or out of town or out of the country or something like that, I check iRacing at some point in the day. So I'm as well versed as anybody. I've driven thousands of races. I've won thousands of races. I'm very blessed, very thankful. I've won a lot of races in a lot of different cars on a lot of different track types and car types and different licenses and surfaces, and I'm the safest, cleanest driver in the history of iRacing statistically. I know that can be debated. I don't care about the wins. I don't care about the irony. I don't care about anything, but I am the safest driver at this that's ever been, based on safety rating. I know that that's kind of a flawed metric, but I have more safety rating and more licenses than anybody that's ever done this, so I'm well qualified to say what good racing is and what clean racing is and what fun is. And iRacing has had the problem now for a long time, but especially lately, of bad driving standards, bad race standards, and just people that don't give a shit because there's another race in 15 minutes. And this was true in pretty much every series prior to COVID. I'd say prior to 2020, there were not enough people on iRacing where you could reliably, consistently get splits in basically everything. And since COVID, when there have been a huge influx, of course, of people that started on iRacing or got into iRacing, there's been a huge amount of people that are getting into sim racing or getting into iRacing in general for the very first time and don't understand that that was not the norm. You can get any rookie series and any license, whatever, to go official any time of day, no matter the track, guaranteed, whatever. Oh, people are dead up here, so we'll just slow down. 3 GT1s are dead there, which is crazy. 3, 4, 5, in fact, so the 13 car is very slow, but at least he's still rolling. A couple are towed there. But you could always get every single series to go official now, for the most part. And again, even niche series, like Proto-GT is as niche of a series as it gets, other than like wingless dirt sprint cars or something else like that that's extremely difficult and extremely unpopular. But Proto-GT is close. It's up there. It's not like Sprint Car Silver Crown level, but it's close. I mean, Proto-GT is as niche as they come, especially the Ford GT2. But like not being able to ever find a race is a different issue in my mind, and it's definitely frustrating, and it's definitely getting old, and it's borderline undoable. I'll say that. So I'm frustrated, that that's kind of what we have for the expectation now, that if something doesn't go official every single time slot, and it doesn't split 14 times every single time it goes official, that it's a failure of a series and it's dead, blah, blah, blah. Like, road people have no idea when you say, oh, I can't believe something didn't split 14 times like Mazda Cup always does or whatever. And you see something like 87s, for example, on the NASCAR side, NASCAR Legends 87s, that almost never splits now for various reasons, but I'll get into that in a second. And you're like, wow, I can't believe the series is so dead. It's like, well, it's not dead. Your expectation of what a populated or successful series is just flawed. So I am of the opinion now, wow, there are 4 GT1s left and we're going to pass this 13 here before too long. Hopefully. I'm of the opinion that a successful series is one that provides good racing, where if you get on during a non-dead time, so I understand that a lot of series are dead in the U.S. evening because it's early morning European time and, you know, late night perhaps Australian time, so depending on what it is, it might not be popular, but I'm of the opinion that if you can find a race in that, it's doing fine. It doesn't have to be a massive split or, you know, split multiple times or be 500 people driving the same car, whatever. But everybody has this expectation that everybody has to be Mazda Cup or has to be, I don't know, GT3 fixed or be IMSA or, you know, be whatever. Formula 4, Formula 3. I don't know what Formula cars are popular, or C fixed or whatever. So everybody has these ideas of what every series needs to be, and that's just not realistic, even with the massive player base that's come to iRacing lately. It's just not realistic. I really need to pass this guy. Not like that. I'm sorry about Hayden. I thought you saw me there. My bad. I think I forgot to plug YouTube, so we'll just go defensive down here to make sure we can hold this guy off, because I think we can pull away. We just got to get a couple good corners together. But anyways, back to my original point, now that I scared the shit out of myself passing that guy. Every series that isn't massively popular isn't a failure, and that's okay. But like when we get to this point, it's tough to support a series like PGT, even though I love it and I love the car. And I mean, the Renault Clio in PCC is kind of the same way, but at least PCC always goes official. At least there's always people driving the 86 and the Mazda and the BMW. So if I wanted to, I could just drive one of those. And yes, that's true of the HPD and the GT1s in here, but even then, this series doesn't always go official, even with the more popular cars. So that's not exactly the same argument in my mind, but, you know, again, we'll deal with that, whatever. My problem is that iRacing doesn't really recognize this. They take series that are doing just fine the way they are and trying to make them more productive or make them more popular or have more splits go off or more availability because it's easier to get in a race every 15 minutes or something than it is to get in one every 2 hours. And that's fine, in my opinion, for Rookie Series or even D-Class or even C-Class if you really wanted to stretch it out. But even C-Class I think is too much. But moving 87s, again, back to my example, to hourly was an absolute disaster. I don't understand. I don't think any tracks, except for the plate tracks, Daytona and Talladega, and I don't even know all the statistics. I'm not a regular in that series by any means. You all know that. They're not splitting. They used to split when they were bi-hourly all the time. It was regular. You'd get fields of 50 cars and they'd split 2 fields of 25, or even in the late night you'd get 30 cars and 2 fields of 15, which isn't great, but it's better than having 9. And all they've done with so many of these series by making them hourly is spreading the people out between them too thin, where it looks like a failing series to those that don't know anything better. They look from the outside and they go, wow, every single split today has gone official, if they're lucky, with 7 cars. And you're like, wow, that can't be any fun. You're right, it's not fun. It's like every single race of Proto-GT I've ever done ever. I've never been in a race with 25 cars in Proto-GT. That's a lie, I have, but it's been quite a while. And again, that one race I did at Sebring, I can't remember if it was the first week of this season. I think it was the first week of this season. It was only 2 months ago that we had like 6 or 7 Ford GTs. I mean, that was like the most Ford GTs I've ever raced at once in my entire life over 2 seasons. And that was crazy. I was shocked by that. And that's not the bar that we want to uphold and have be the standard. Like, why can't the standard be, yes, you always have 1 to 2 to 3 Ford GTs that you can race against. And, you know, if you have one of those bigger splits or SOFs or whatever, that's fine. I understand that Proto-GT is a very, very niche series. So that's a bad example, but that's why I'm driving, so we're going with it. why does every series have to have this aura of, yes, it goes official all the time and has these, crazy turnout numbers and so many people drive it hourly. The thing that drives me nuts about 87s, again, and I won't harp on it too much because I don't drive it regularly. I'm not a regular, but I know a lot of people that are and used to love it or still love it in some cases, of like CR2. Plug CR2, love his guides, go check him out. But people drive these cars and they're like, it doesn't make any sense because with the race length, if you race one, even though they're hourly, you're not done in time to make the next one. So you can't drive it hourly. You can only drive it every 2 hours like you used to. So why the hell is iRacing saying, yes, hourly is a great thing, because if you miss one, you don't have to wait 2 hours for the next one? It's like, well, all you're doing then is if you want to quote-unquote avoid the SOF people or whatever for whatever reason, or you're trying to find them, you have to be Hawkeye to your computer every hour because you never know when they're going to show up instead of a time that everybody agrees on being the SOF time or whatever, because it's every 2 hours only on Monday night. If you don't want to race some of those guys because you don't like some of them, like I don't like some of them, or because you want an easier field or whatever, that's fine. You just wait until the opposite hour when they're all racing and they won't be done in time to join your next race. The problem with that is you might race 6 cars. I mean, we saw my race at Atlanta, the one that I had that great race with Lee a couple weeks ago, in the 87's car, and we had like an 8-car race. And so yeah, I think we went green the whole way. It was a lot of fun just to drive, but not only was it a small field, and so we didn't get a whole lot of wheel-to-wheel battling, although the front 4 was quite close, and Lee and I had a great fight to the end. But I finished second as the 1 car by 2,000 ironing, and I lost ironing, second out of 8 or 9 or whatever, which I understand on one hand, but on the other hand, it's like, this is stupid. You're telling me the fields are so small and so low that you lose ironing for finishing second out of a field because it's not 10 cars or more. Like, what are we doing, iRacing, that this is the standard that we're trying to reach? Are they trying to boost their numbers and just say, yes, we had this many races go official because they're more often? If that's what they're doing, I have no problem with it, but come out and say that. Come out and say, this is our goal, we're trying to make it look like, or we're trying to have more opportunities for people to race so we have it more often. If they do that and they came out and said this was our goal, we're going to make more series happen more often, we're going to make as many series as possible hourly, we're going to make all the rookie and D-class series every 15 minutes so that anybody new to the sim can always find a race, fine. If that's their goal, fine, do that. I don't have any problem with that, and actually I kind of understand it and support it. It is nice when you're trying to run a mini stock just on a whim and you haven't really practiced, to be able to run 3 minutes of practice, a couple laps to make sure you're not an absolute clown, head out there and race. That is nice, I do admit. But it's killing off all these other niche series. It's killing off things that need that group community, and the stuff that needs a group that gets together at 8:45 and runs Proto-GT. Again, bad example, Proto-GT still every 2 hours. It's killing off the massive groups of 87s groups that will run 3 or 4 races in a week because they can't all find each other to find the time to race because they're all spread out every hour, every 2 hours, every 3 hours. I won't speak again on dirt or on formula or anything because I'm not as involved in those communities as I am sports car. But iRacing is shooting themselves in the foot, in my opinion, of maximizing how many people can race in any given time. And on top of that, the content, again, I didn't drive the new ARCA car, I won't comment on it, but it seems like it was lacking. It seems like it was not very well thought out with the release. I won't go as far as saying it wasn't ready, but the netcode was terrible. Some of the glitches with like paint schemes and painting ability and physics were terrible. And it just seems like now more than ever, instead of taking a season where they don't release any new content and fix stuff on the back end with making sure the UI is right. I've become a big fan of the UI. I was hesitant when they went away from the website several years ago for the first time and said, hey, try the UI. I was hesitant because I knew how to work the website. It was comfortable, it made sense, it was easy to find, everything was smooth. And again, I had lived through several revamps of the website back when I first started. I've talked about the website was way more basic. There were so many things that were different about it back then. There were things that, they aren't even features. They'd roll club points and race points and season points and stuff right across the screen at you back in the old days. It was crazy. Totally different to when they launched the UI now. And I don't think it's a crazy expectation for the UI to just have everything make sense and work. It doesn't have to be rocket science, and it is cool. It's a great tool. I think the UI is great, and it's grown on me tremendously, and I'm a big fan and a big supporter. But when stuff just straight up doesn't work or isn't tested, it really makes you question where their logic is. Like, if you are saying, hey, I I love this UI build or whatever, but I just wish A, B, C. And instead of doing A, B, C, or considering it or looking into it just to make the thing functional, I'm not saying it has to be perfect for everybody, just to make the damn thing functional. Instead of doing that, they go and they add a new thing, like taking away the clubs and putting everybody associated with a flag based on where they're from. Yes, cool, but it almost feels like they're kind of dodging the point. Like they're missing what stuff that's broken for stuff that's cool. And I'm not a fan of that. I don't understand it because, again, when I started iRacing, everything was a niche series. Everything was all about, you know, putting it towards your racing career. Everything was about taking care of your equipment on track and managing your time and your resources and everything off track. That's why I never had a problem with detached qualifying. People hate detached qualifying or don't know how it works. You know, the way that qualifying still works at like the Nürburgring, for example, where you have to qualify separately from the race. People hated that, and that's why they moved it to attached qualifying for all normal races. So that was easier. You didn't have to worry about it. There was nothing else to do, no additional sign up. You just, when you wanted to race, you joined your race, and before your race started, you have queue. Which makes perfect sense. It's how it is. It's how it is in every game. But it wasn't a game. It was a sim. You had to plan your time. The only downside was that if you ran a blistering queue lap on Monday night, you kept it for the entire week and you were on the pole. That was the only downside to it. But the fact that now iRacing seems to say, hey, all these good changes we've made in the past 10, 15 years, whatever, that have gotten us to where we are, being the leader in sim racing. I think iRacing is undisputedly the best sim on the market. I know there are newer ones, there are better ones, there are ones with better physics, better sound, better visuals, better driving, but nothing beats the competition right now of iRacing. There's nowhere in the world on any sim or any game where you find a better race based on iRating and all these calculations and the series availability and the breadth of cars and tracks that they have and laser scanning, all this stuff. There's nowhere that's a more fun place to race right now than iRacing. Hands down, will not take any discussion or argument on the point. The problem is all of those things are often somewhat overshadowed by mistakes or by failures. And again, I lived through the Indy 500 a decade ago plus now being canceled because of a bug with the UI, or sorry, a bug with the sim. There's nothing wrong with that, but this past week for Indy 500 qualifying, they had to reset the systems not once but twice because dynamic weather is still broken. Dynamic weather has had some flaw along with dynamic track. They've had some kind of broken bits, some flaws for years and years and years and years and years. It's been crazy. Honestly, it's kind of crazy how they haven't, you know, just had a huge patch, honestly, to fix it yet. But they had to reset Indy qualifying because it was so broken that the times were being manipulated based on the cloud cover, the temperature. I don't know. I wasn't involved. I didn't run it. But after that, they broke it somewhere else along the line after they fixed that and set it to static weather and static qualifying, sky, whatever. They broke it again by deactivating the settings that they had for the setups, and so they had the wrong like air vents. They had the wrong radiator settings on the fixed setup qualifying, where now they can't reliably. The car was a little bit faster because I think they went from 70% vents or whatever to 77, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it probably is worth a couple tenths in Indy qualifying. So you look at stuff like that, and it's like, were they even thinking about when they do A, what happens to B, C, D, E, F? Or were they just saying, hey, we got to fix A, so let's fix A, and then, you know, that's it. And again, part of that comes from they have a lot of people working for them right now. Maybe one hand's not talking to the other, and that's fine. There's a lot going on. I understand that. They have a lot of big projects, especially with the new NASCAR game, which I am very excited about. I am very much looking forward to giving the new NASCAR game a new try.
Hot.
And before you say anything, yes, I know I am just chilling here and making mistakes and going slow. Not about this race. Obviously, we're not going anywhere. So I have such a dedicated love for iRacing. I am so passionate about this sim. It has been a huge part of my life. It has been, the last 12 years, the one thing that I have stuck to and has grounded me through everything that goes on in life, through every bad score on a test in high school or in college, through every breakup with a girlfriend, because, you know, girlfriends talk back, race cars don't, is my always thing. But I mean, that's a terrible way to look at this. But like, iRacing has been the thing that, again, Adam and Alex will tell you. Adam and Alex and Banksy and other people from the last 10 years that you all know very well now have sat literally for hours every single night. Adam and Alex and I used to sit and race when I was in college and Alex was in college, and we'd talk about life, we'd talk about race cars, we'd talk about sim racing, we'd race stuff, we'd practice, we'd test, we'd build sets. And again, when I was going through some of my crazy breakups, like, we wouldn't even race. We'd just sit there and talk for like 4 or 5 hours a night every single fucking night. Every single night. Like, sim racing is that big of a part of my life. And I love it to death. I really do love iRacing. Like, I can never walk away. I always talk about how I'm reaching the end of my career. I'm way closer to the end of my career at sim racing than I am the beginning. I can't walk away because I have so much fun. It's stuff like this car. This car is so much fun to drive. It's so much fun to click off downshifts and rev match your downshifts in this car to make sure they'll go into the right gear, because if you do it wrong, you're going to either kill yourself or you're not going to get the gear. That's so much fun. I love it. It's awesome. And this is, again, a 16-year-old scan or whatever. Like, I don't know. I truly love iRacing, but it seems to me like, and this is not a flaw, I'm just pointing this out, that they are catering much more now towards gamers, casual racers, the general player base, much more than the hardcore people that join this because it's the best place to race. And that's, again, that's fine. I understand that, because the more people that come on, the more people that pay the bills and allow you to have more new content and get stuff scanned faster and get updated tracks, updated art, more developers that join the team, and all these things. Stuff just gets done better. It's better for the sim and better for sim racing the more people that are a part of this. I understand that. I realize that, and it is factual. The problem is they're not holding the same standard of what they were, even, again, pre-COVID, definitely 12 years ago when I joined and before then. And Steve will tell you the same thing. I'm sure Steve will say, yep, I'm 100% sure that iRacing's not the same anymore. But the fact that now we have a hard time, like, protests don't go through because people that obviously either, I'm not going to say everybody needs to be banned or everybody needs a month vacation or something, but like people that are intentionally wrecking because they don't know what they're doing, or they flip out and get upset or pissed about racing circumstances or whatever, like, they don't need to be banned. They don't need to be kicked out, but they need mandatory driver coaching. They need to learn why what they're doing is wrong on the sim and be punished, for lack of a better term, so that they can learn and be better in their next race. I mean, I talk all the time about Brad Adamson. In my very first year, 2013, rookie street stocks, maybe it was C-Class street stocks, I don't remember. Must have been C-Class at Thompson. And he spun me out, said he spun me out, and I full throttled him in one of the corners and sent us both into the trees at Thompson. Did I deserve a week off like I got? Absolutely I did. I didn't know any better because I was new to iRacing. I didn't know that they did such a thing, but like, I got banned for that for a week, couldn't race. And it was great because it taught me that, yes, there are consequences to my actions. There are repercussions for making mistakes and doing bad things. Like, you can't just drive batshit crazy over your head and get away with it, because that's not what would happen in a real race car. And these are our real race cars. This is the closest I'm ever going to get to driving a real race car, short of like a track day or an amateur event of some sort, or lemons, basically. This is all I've got. This is my racing career. And I take it seriously, in case you couldn't tell by the amount of prep, the amount of practice, the amount of time I spend on setups, honing my craft the last 12 years, the amount of practice I've done, the amount of racing I've done, driving as cleanly and respectfully as I can, because all I have is my name and my image. I need a gear there, Justin. This is all I've got. I mean, nobody's going to care about the wins and the stats. I don't care about the wins and the stats. There's always going to be better drivers out there than me. But I cannot believe that we don't have a system right now to help drivers get better and keep them on the sim, other than, well, they're paying a lot of money for this, so they deserve to keep racing. Like, no. If someone's a shitty driver and intent wrecking or driving over their head or whatever, like, I know that the driving school, whatever, is mandatory, quote-unquote mandatory. Let's make it actually mandatory. If you have a ban or something, if you have a strike against your name, in some way, shape, or form, as I vastly overdrive turn one. How much time we got? Third of the race to go. Perfect. If you have a strike against your name because you mess up and you intent wreck someone, or you get disqualified from 5 races in a row because you don't know what you're doing, you understand the instant points matter, and you're stuck in rookie class and you're like a 1.1 rookie class, why can't there be something that's a mandatory schooling or tutoring, or, I mean, like, shit, if there was an option for me to be a PCC guide or rep and make myself available through the forums or through the UI or something for people that are looking to run PCC but don't know where to start, or just bought a new car or a new track and they are new to iRacing and they don't understand what PCC is and they want to learn multi-class, or they tried to learn multi-class and they intent wrecked a bunch of people on the grid because they don't know what they're doing, whatever. People that want to learn, instead of your punishment being banned and not being able to race, why don't we subject people to learning? Why don't we have a thing where you can hook up with myself or with Casey or with Will or with anybody else that's an experienced road racer, an experienced PCC driver, and help show them the ropes, help teach them what they're doing wrong, how they can be better, not just as drivers, but as members of the community. I mean, again, I'll get a little bit off topic here, but I have a kind of crash course that I've given people that want to learn sports car racing for well over 10 years now. I mean, this started in 2015 when I started doing this, so I guess it's just about 10 years. But I started teaching people because I wanted more friends to race the Solstice with. I wanted to race more with Adam and Alex and Banksy and Yusuf and Sharpie and Michael and Jason and all the people that you guys have never seen on the channel because they raced with me years and years ago, and either they're no longer active or whatever the case may be. I put them through a crash course essentially because I obviously developed very comfortably, very quickly into the Solstice, how it worked, what made it so good, what made it such a great teaching car, and obviously I got along very well with it. It's the sole reason I have a 6K. But I put my friends and people that were interested, and even some strangers sometimes, people I didn't know, but were friends of a friends, and they're like, hey, you're really good at this, teaching thing, and you talk very well, and you explain things very well. Would you help me become a better road racer? And I've been putting people through this crash course in the Solstice for years, and they all come out of it saying, I might not be any faster, but I understand better what to do. I understand better how to drive, how to conduct myself, how to avoid mistakes, be consistent, learn a new track, whatever the case may be. They become better drivers, and especially better road racers, which in turn makes them better at everything else, in my opinion. Like, if you're a better road racer and you can turn right and left and keep your car on track for a 30-minute race around Watkins Glen that has some pretty unforgiving sections, you can drive a street stock at USA. It's not rocket science. You just have to learn it. It's a little bit different, obviously, but it's not so different that you can't learn it in the same manner you just learned the Solstice around Summit Point. And I'm putting Gavin through that exact training right now, and it's not complex, and it's not long, it's not complicated, but I hope Gavin chimes in at some point. He's impressed me so much because I always knew he could drive. He just had to reset his baseline of not just expectations, but how to drive. Like, for lack of a better term, he didn't know how to race. I mean, he could put laps together, he can be reasonably fast, but he didn't know how to have racecraft. He didn't know how to put together a 30-minute race without making mistakes. The Aston sounds so good. And Alain is absolutely mega. He's a 5K for a reason. He's rapid. Get a cough again. Hold on. Excuse me. Apologies again. But I put Gavin through this crash course, and it's made him a better road racer, and we've had one hour session, and he's been doing some practice by himself. I'm confident that in another 2 or 3 sessions around Summit Point, he'll be good. We can move on to a different track or two, learn those tracks, and then we can say, hey, what kind of lower level, entry level car, MX-5 or GR86 or whatever, do you want to learn and try to be better at? We'll figure that out. He can learn that slowly, and within, by the end of the year for sure, we can have him be literally 3 times as good of a road racer as he is right now, just by teaching him the right way to do things. And iRacing drops the ball on that. They used to have a community base where if you had questions or needed something or had, an input that you wanted to give to the community, the forums were great. Everybody knew each other. It was great. It was somewhere that you could become a better driver, become a better member of the community just by existing, just by showing up. You couldn't not, because to do that you'd have to hide in the hole. So the fact that now, God, the 11 car's now on pit road, this freaking 5 car might lap everybody. But I mean, now that we are at the point where the player base is so huge that nobody knows each other, you're not scared to wreck someone in retaliation or whatever because there's another race in 15 minutes and we can just do that one and wreck there instead of actually learning the right way to go about your business. I think that's a failing on iRacing's part, to be honest with you. And again, it's not their fault entirely, but they don't help themselves by not providing an opportunity for people to get better. Aston sounds so good, man. But yeah, I mean, I'll stop. I mean, we're inside the last 5 minutes there, but we're at the point now where iRacing has done so many things right over the, 17 years now that they've been publicly available. So many things right. There's a reason, like I said earlier, that they are the leader of what they do, and it's undisputed in my mind. There is not a sim that's even close. But they could do a lot of simple things in my mind. I know it's not rocket science. I'm not a developer. I don't know the ins and outs of iRacing. They could do a lot of simple things in my mind to not just make it a better experience for those of us that have been here for a long time and do it, but make it better, not just for people that are new and say, screw it, whatever, I don't care about the consequences, blah, 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 but then help them to be more engaged, help them to get better, learn more, become involved, and stay. I know they don't care because if you're here, you're spending your money, whether you stay or not's irrelevant because you already paid for it beforehand. Don't you want more of those people to stay for 10 years like I have or more and keep paying their $100 a year and keep buying tracks and cars and have to buy a new PC to upgrade and want to continue on? Like, I mean, that's where I'm at. It's having spent thousands of dollars on this damn thing. Like, I love it. I fell in love with it. I can't leave it. Don't they want more people to do that? So, I don't know. Maybe this has all been just a whole hodgepodge in my thoughts, but when I saw that I was the only Ford in here, it just made me think about, like, damn, man, why can't we can do better. There can be better, not just from iRacing's part, but from the community's part, the driver's part, and how we all band together to make this thing work cohesively. But, like, shit, I love this sim so much. I can't say it enough. And not having the opportunity to go about my business and just join up in a race and run with friends in this car and find some people that I know or recognize is frustrating. It's really sad, to be honest with you. And so, again, I don't know if this meant anything or if anybody cares, whatever, let me know. But I don't know. I want iRacing to reach the peak that made me fall in love with it so many years ago. I still remember vividly all those first, excuse me again, all those first rookie races I did, USA, in the street stock, and even Charlotte, but more USA. How scared I was to blow it. How scared I was to loop it off a turn 2 like I did so many times in front of the field, and God forbid I ruined somebody's race. That was just the nightmare. It was a disaster. I'm dying. I hate that the culture now, there's another race in 15 minutes, and we're not going to punish you if you really mess up and ruin someone's race. I'm really dying, I'm sorry. Talk too much for 30 minutes on a sore throat will do that. But I hate now that the culture is slap on the wrist, be better next time, but we don't actually help you be any better. We don't actually guide you, we don't actually teach you, we don't actually do anything to benefit you as a driver and you as a member of the iRacing community. We just hope you'll figure it out on your own. And hopefully you find a good influence, and even then, we hope you listen to them. So, I don't know. Let me know your thoughts down below. Let me know if you agree, disagree, think I'm full of crap, whatever. But hopefully we'll come to the white flag. I have no idea if we're at that point yet. We should be. We'll see. Hopefully. Alright, white flag. Credit one bank, thankfully. Again, apologies. Rex is dominating this one by a country mile. Second and third have both had the pit in this race, so we'll come through. We'll finish this one up. Keith is still second, though. I'll shut up so you can hear this beautiful car for the rest of this lap, and then we'll have a nice quick wrap-up post-race. Great race, everyone. That was a blast. Awesome. Look at that. I actually shut my big mouth and focused and run a good lap, and it's my best lap. Imagine that. Talk less, race more is the lesson here today. So, whatever. Another nice 0x. We'll take that. While they're getting the finishing results up real quick and everybody's coming across the line, I'm going to go grab some more Kleenex, so I'll be right back. I apologize. All right, we are back. Sorry about that. I just had to blow my nose real quick. Huge margin victory. 1 minute for Rex. Not unexpected, but we come home for P1. Hopefully we'll get the results here shortly. Again, let me know your thoughts as far as whether you want to see me continue to drive the Ford GT2, whether you only want to see it if I can find someone to race with, or whether you don't mind the therapy drives and the talks because the car is just so great. I don't mind either way. I'll just drive it off camera if that's the case, if you don't want to see it. But again, let me know your thoughts on iRacing, the state of iRacing, all the things they do, the good, the bad, the ugly. I know this may be controversial, and I support iRacing to the moon as much as I can, but I just had a couple things I wanted to say about, in my opinion, shortcomings of what could make iRacing really, truly great again. So let's check out the results real quick once they come in. There they are. Stuff like this is supposed to be centered, and it's like they never tested it. That's all the way over here. I don't understand, but um, we get 83 championship points, which is expected. Not too bad. We're not even chasing points. I don't care, but just for reference. So racing by ourselves, we finished 7th out, 13th, only for GT2, and that's about that. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. I hope this was productive and wasn't a total waste of like 40 minutes of your time, but I do appreciate the heck out of all of you. Thank you all so much for your love and support. It truly means the world to me. I'm so blessed and so thankful that so many of you enjoy my content and damn, I'm dying, I swear, and are so friendly to me. I'm sorry that a lot of the videos haven't been super entertaining lately, and I'm still getting over whatever this sickness or allergies or whatever this is. So I apologize, but I hope you still enjoyed it. I hope it was worth your time, and I hope you'll stick around and continue to watch the content because I promise you I got plenty of good stuff still coming up in the works. So I appreciate you all so much, but that's going to be it. Till next time, as always. Bye bye.